This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Providing a Christian education alternative in Western New York. Welcome back to another edition of Hometown Heroes on Family Life. I'm Mark Webster, and this week's guest is Scot Stuzman, principal of the CHautaqua Christian Academy, providing that alternative for the past 50 years, though he says his role and the current name are of a more recent vintage.
It transitioned into Chautauqua Christian somewhere around 2020. Bethel Baptist was planning on perhaps closing that chapter, and then there was a new school board that was looking to open up as Chautauqua Christian Academy, and they were looking for a seasoned administrator to take the lead, and that's when they reached out to me to ask if I could share how they should go about doing it. And at that time, I didn't know if I was going to, take a job doing that.
Started out with just a handful of students. It seems to be growing quite well.
I am so proud of the work that we're doing over here at Chautauqua Christian. When I took the job several years ago, we had 57 students. Now we're in the 160s. We have turned away so many families because we're growing so fast. But the thing that I love the most about this school is it's like one big family. And we have the best of the best educators here, and we're focused on getting kids ready for the AI generation. So we've been implementing robotics classes, marketing classes, entrepreneurial classes. And we also offer trades through BOCES, which is done through our local public school system that we work with. And even over and above that, we have a partnership with Houghton University. So our kids can do dual enrollment while under this roof, and there's no additional cost for that partnership.
We hear a lot these days about the whole public versus private education and what's going on in a lot of public schools. And I think a lot of people have been giving a second look at alternatives like Christian academies.
It's interesting because I'm going on, I believe, my 22nd or 23rd year in education, and I've been in both public and now in private. And there's a good place for both of them. But I think what we offer here at CCA is we could do things just a little differently. And I'll never hide behind the fact that we implement the character of Christ. And those are the qualities that I think businesses want for their future, the soft skills that we see fading in this world. We want to work on those soft skills. And our critical thinking skills, those are the type of skills that we really focus on, and they're all built around the character of Christ. So I think that in conjunction with this being one really awesome, great family, and people want to be part of a great family. And so when anybody enrolls at this school, they join a great family over here that includes our staff, our faculty, and then obviously our students and their parents.
Let's delve a little bit more into what you called soft skills. What are some of those, and why are they so important?
It's interesting because as we look at the generation and we look at what's facing our kids, for instance, we know that our kids have cell phones out constantly, and most of our kids' heads are in those cell phones all the time. They're losing the soft skills of simple things like a warm greeting, a handshake. Those things are getting lost. When we have tours in our school, we never tell the students that we have somebody coming in the building so that it's like a stage that was preset. But 9 out of 10 times, our kids will greet those that are touring with a handshake, a welcome, a kind conversation. We really want to make sure that our kids have those skills because they're getting lost. And those are the skills that are embedded in pretty much every classroom, even general communication skills. We had a communication skills class in the past that was mandated, and we're going to bring that class back again next year because we want our kids to be able to know how to communicate in all environments.
Yeah, so important. Talk a little bit about how you go about preparing kids. Once they're out of that school, when they've gone through that and they're out in the world, it's a challenge to hold on to what they've been taught.
We just saw the other day what happened with our U.S. hockey team. And we know the gentleman that got the final goal. He had his teeth knocked out just prior to that, and he got right back in. And why do I use that as an example? Because I do a weekly email, and in that email, I talk about grit. And grit is you don't lay down when you get the hard slap because the world is going to give you that. You have to learn how to navigate this world with grit. And I think the one thing we also focus on at CCA is that our kids have grit and they learn how to navigate the challenges. And so when they leave this school, when all of a sudden a situation shows up that maybe they didn't expect, they don't lay down. They look for solutions. They use their critical thinking skills and they use the soft skills to be able to address those things that maybe Maybe they're not prepared, but we prepare them as best as possible at this school for what they'll face once they walk out the doors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Bible, of course, talks about, meekness, but people often mistake meekness for just rolling over and being wishy-washy, and that's certainly not what it's really about.
And I agree with you there. And the world needs more grit. And grit isn't that all of a sudden we jump on social media and we're, saying things nasty back and forth through a social media battle. That's not grit. Grit is, what do you do when you hit a situation, you don't know how to address it? And sometimes it's going to be a really tough situation. I like to call those trials or challenges that kids will face. And we all face them. No matter who you are, you're going to face those. And we want to teach the kids the process for doing that. And we never leave out the character of Christ in prayer, because we're a Christian school. And that is a very critical element, is knowing that you can go to your maker and pray and talk with him about different situations. There's an old quote that I learned many years ago in public education, and the quote is, "Culture trumps strategy." And quite honestly, there's great strategies in many, many schools across this state and across this nation, but you have to create a culture. And CCA has created a culture that begins with a family feel, and that culture is what allows our kids to thrive and prepares them for when they leave this school. And that's something I'm really proud of. If the culture trumps the strategy, but in essence, our kids now are so prepared for the world because we've established that culture, which allows them to be successful in the classroom because they love being here.
That's Scot Stuzman, principal of the Chautaqua Christian Academy, providing a faith-based education alternative to Western New Yorkers for 50 years. Please join us again next time as we search for your home, your town, your hero. It's Hometown Heroes on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.